I don't think we know what a brand really is, you know, like, is a brand just a logo? Is it just an icon? Is it a taste? Is it a feeling? Really, what is a brand? Damn it, tell me, what is a brand? Are these brands? Batman? Wonder Woman? Robin? Maybe they might be brands, you know. When we get into the discussion, we might find out. Tell me what a brand is. Please, pretty please, what is a brand? Yes, okay. Those are all brands. But guess what? These things are also brands. This is a brand. 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 And this is a brand. How is a GIF a brand? I don't get it. But you know what? It is a brand. And these peeps, they're also brands, right? We know them. LeBron, Kylie, Kanye, Roger, these are all brands. And these are brands too, guys. That's right. All of our political parties are brands as well. The more you think about it, the more you're going to see brands around you now. And you're going to look at them and feel them. And you're going to change your perspective of the world. Because the more you think about it, and the more you look at the world around you, the more you see the role of advertising and marketing in your life. Now, we'll get back to this later when we discuss it. But these are brands too. So how do we build brands? That's the most important question, right? Well, here's a brand building formula in one simple slide. And it's now available to all of you for free. Building a brand involves a lot of market research, competitive analysis, audience insights, media and PR planning, followed by a thorough digital marketing approach, which is platform specific and driven by data. Data analysis is done. Once research comes back with a verified data set on user trends, industry trends, platform performance, and performance in general. Depending on the industry, a separate exercise is done for e-commerce and specific performance plan is crafted and created, blah, 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 etc. You got it? Okay. Thank you for confusing me. Care to explain? Absolutely. Honestly, that is how brands are built. Yeah, you know, but brands are also kind of built like this.
It's a big ad, very big ad. It's a big ad. It's a big ad. My God, it's big. Can't believe how big it is. It's a big ad. Look out the crowds. It's just so freaking good. It's a big man. Expensive man. It's advertisements of
Yeah, you know, on the surface of it, yeah, that's an ad, and ads build brands, and that ad was funny, and it had a point of view, and there was a tone of voice. But is that the only way you build an ad? That can't be it. There's got to be more to building a brand. It can't just be a funny TV ad. Maybe it's a little more like this.
Several people posting videos burning Nike shoes.
Nike is running straight into a political controversy.
People are so angry they're burning their own shoes.
Colin Kaepernick refused to stand during the national anthem, taking a knee to protest police brutality.
Nike revealed Colin Kaepernick as the face of its latest marketing campaign.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Is Nike taking a risk?
I think they're taking a stand.
Tonight, the first game of the new season, and Nike is running an ad featuring Colin Kaepernick.
If people say your dreams are crazy, good. Stay that way.
Most of this country was talking about this last night at their dinner table.
And I'm never buying another Nike product again.
Nike stock today dropping 3%.
Who's going to win this cultural showdown of standing for the anthem?
We are. Check this out. I went out today and bought me some Nike stuff.
I want to applaud Nike. Speak up. We're right behind you.
This thing is bigger than just the United States, and I think it resonates throughout the world.
Kaepernick asegura que es
Just do it.
Nike stock reached an all-time high last Friday. I'm going to buy more Nikes now.
Nike's on the right side of history.
So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
Wow, that is definitely one way to build a brand, right? When you get people talking about you, when you stand for something, when you're relevant, when you know what's going on. But that works really well for a brand like Nike. That can't work for every single brand, right? I mean, that's part of the story. So how else do you build a brand?
MailChimp is a creative company that gives other companies digital tools to grow in their own creative ways. So when it came time to introduce themselves to targeted audiences, they did it in their own original way. By saying hi to the world with not one, not two, but 9 uniquely engaging experiences. They were all very different, but had one thing in common. They all kinda sounded like MailChimp. And they designed a paid search campaign so that no matter which experience piqued your interest, you'd find your way back to MailChimp. First, they caught the attention of cinemagoers when they released 3 short films in theaters nationwide. Mailshrimp, Jailblimp, and Kalelimp. Then they turned their attention to the music world. They made Whale Synth, a real musical instrument made entirely out of whale noises, and put together Veilhim, a musical collaboration between Dev Hynes and Brendan Cook that spawned a hit single and a sexy interactive music video. They gave nail art influencers a worldwide platform to battle for the ultimate title of Nail Champ, created hair and beauty trends like the male crimp and snail crimp that were so ridiculous they actually caught on, and invented fail chips, an actual snack food made from crushed potato chips. They dropped amazing things into every part of culture, and then they waited for the right people to pick them up. Rolling Stone and Pitchfork featured Veilhim on their front pages and raved about them within hours of their release, leading to nearly 2 million streams. French Vogue, Paper Magazine, and The New Yorker couldn't get enough of the hottest hair trend, the male crimp. Whale Synth hit the big time with industry insiders like experimental rock god Brian Eno. MailChimp had an audience of over 1 million nail art fans. And then they gave away over 200,000 bags of fail chips, infiltrating foodie culture and inspiring recipes from famous chefs. You see, MailChimp knew that to reach a very specific audience, the most direct path isn't always the most obvious one. They also knew that if you made something unique enough for that audience, they'd search for it and make their way back to MailChimp, where the brand's message was clear. Doing things your way isn't really just more fun, it's good business, especially when you know how the internet works.
That's a pretty interesting approach to build a brand, by not actually talking about your brand. That's someone who decided to take everything I'm saying and spit on it and do something else. Let's build a brand by not talking about the brand. That's a pretty interesting approach, but that works if you're trying to be funny, right? What if you want to do something else?
Deixa eu ver. Eita, mano. Umas ideias, velho. Olha, caralho, mano.
Burger King is famous for its flame-grilled burgers. Unlike our competitor, who fries their burgers. But in Brazil, their media budget is 4 times bigger than ours. Their ads are pretty much everywhere. So we did the only logical thing. We burned them. I know what you're thinking. Did we track down every piece of McDonald's communication, create a dynamic database of these ads, develop an AR feature on our own app that recognizes those ads, then encourage people to point their phones at them and burn them down, turning every McDonald's ad into a Burger King ad? Yes. Yes, we did. Every single ad. Outdoor ads, burn. Social media posts, burn. Google image searches, burn. Indoor signage, trays, coupons, burn, burn, burns. And the best part, the feature connected users to the e-payment page, generating free Whoppers. It spread like, well, fire.
If you hold it up to any competitor's ad, it'll burn it and then leave you with a coupon.
With almost 500,000 ads burned, our app went straight to the top in Brazil, and so did sales. The more they invested, the more we burned. Ah, the smell of victory. With fire and a little help from technology, we turned common outdoor ads no one wants to see into delicious flame-grilled Whoppers you could taste.
Now there's a brand that decided to build their sales by literally burning the competition. And it wasn't just a literal burn. It was a figurative burn. It was a metaphorical burn. It was a meme burn. It was a GIF burn. Any type of burn. Somebody called the fire department because I think McDonald's got burnt and toasted. But maybe some people find that too aggressive. And it might not work if you're a different type of brand in a different industry, right? Maybe you're gonna try something different, right? There's got to be other ways to build brands, guys. That's not it. That's not it. There's more. There's more.
Young people don't listen to public safety messages. So how do you get them to care about being safe around trains? By turning your message into a cultural phenomenon. The idea was simple. Being unsafe around trains is the dumbest thing you could ever do.
I wonder, what's this red button do?
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
A song was written called Dumb Ways to Die. A video of the song was released online and within a week had over 20 million YouTube views. Content was made for Tumblr, Instagram, and SoundCloud and generated huge and immediate viral effect. Within days, Dumb Ways to Die became the world's most shared video. The song was put on iTunes and climbed the charts in over 20 countries, making its way onto playlists all around the world. Radio advertising was purchased, but this song about rail safety was so popular it got played for free. The video was picked up by every television network in the country. Limited edition posters based on press and outdoor became collector's items. People shared their own versions of the song.
So many dumb ways to die.
Created all kinds of content. Schools everywhere adopted the campaign. Dumb Ways to Die became the most shared public service campaign in history. And a message that people needed to hear had become a message that people wanted to hear.
Run across the tracks between the platforms. They may not rhyme, but they're quite possibly dumbest ways to die. Dumbest ways to die. Dumbest ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
Be safe around trains. A message from Metro.
I mean, I think that's pretty brave to, on how to build a brand, to tell your customer base that they're dumb. It could have flopped spectacularly, but as you can see, actually, people enjoyed being called dumb, and it seemed to do the job. But we all know that you can't keep on calling people dumb and they're not going to keep on thinking your brand's awesome. So there must be another way, right? There's got to be another way.
Women are 71% more likely to be injured in a car crash and 17% more likely to die. The reason? Most cars are tested on male crash test dummies. But not at Volvo. They have collected real-world data since the 1970s to learn what happens during a collision, regardless of size or gender. What if we could use this data to make all cars safer for women? Introducing the EVA initiative. We collected all of Volvo's research and made it available to everyone in a digital library consisting of data from more than 43,000 collisions and 72,000 people. For the first time ever, anyone could download the research and learn how it has led to some of Volvo's most innovative safety systems. To make the data more human, we gave the numbers a face and created a film that showed how this injustice affects women in a personal and direct way. EVA was introduced at a live-streamed event where journalists and competing brands could tune in.
The data helped us to understand the mechanism and the importance for all people. And we want the rest of the industry to do the same.
Then we launched a global campaign across a wide range of media. The initiative quickly became news and sparked a global conversation about equal road safety.
Preventing whiplash in injuries like this. But also they're not just keeping the data for themselves. This data and analysis that they've done is also on their website, so it's open to all car manufacturers to kind of improve safety for women in particular.
But most importantly, this will make all cars safer for everyone.
Now that's a unique approach to building a brand, isn't it? Where you use technology and you use data, and then you kind of arrive at the fact that despite how far we've come together as society, women are still ignored in the weirdest ways. And then you address that problem and you try to spin that problem on its head by sharing that data with everyone. That's a great way to build a brand. But if you're not a car manufacturer, does it work? Probably not, right? There's got to be more ways to build brands, guys. I mean, there has to be. Let's see.
Although I have cerebral palsy, I do everything I can to conduct myself like everyone else. But in my own home, I'm surrounded with furniture crying out, cripple. I'd like to sit on a regular sofa without being afraid I won't be able to get up.
IKEA's vision is to create a better everyday life for the many. These savers give simple and affordable home furnishings for 10% of the population.
Every person is different depending on their needs.
Disability drives innovation.
Even in some of our public libraries, there's 3D printers.
Solutions, they've been very medicalized down through the years, and nothing as cool as anything you've produced. ועכשיו אנחנו רוצים להראות לכם יוזמה מיוחדת של רשת איקאה שנקראת Disable.
יוזמה חשובה שתקל על אנשים עם מוגבלויות. איקאה, עם ארגון נגישות.
Yes, this is also how you build a brand. You look at your market space. You look at what's there, what's been left out, what's touched, what's untouched. You look at whether your product that's meant for everybody, is it truly meant for everybody? And then you solve for it in a way that's unique to you as a brand. And you create a new category. And you build your brand. But this is really niche and really specific, right? There are more things to talk about. There are more brands out there. There are more audiences. So there's got to be more ways to build brands.
While 100 million adults in China are affected by COPD, less than 7% are properly diagnosed. Shortness of breath is commonly mistaken as a natural part of aging. So, to encourage early checkups, we turned a mobile phone into a self-testing tool. Introducing Breath of Life. Inspired by the traditional Chinese art form of blow painting, we collaborated with a well-known artist and a leading pulmonologist to create Breath of Life, a revolutionary new app for self-testing of COPD. Housed on WeChat, China's most popular mobile platform, the user simply picks a tree style and flower color. And when a deep breath is forcefully exhaled, an artistic blowing ink style tree grows. COPD is determined by the volume of breath blown in a second versus total volume. The microphone on the mobile records the sound of breath to produce a sound wave. By using the height of that sound wave, we developed an algorithm to create the figure of a tree. The size of the tree represents the user's approximate lung volume. If the result is lower than 70%, a hospital checkup is recommended. Users can even share their bespoke tree on social platforms to encourage others to take the test. Using cutting-edge technology merged with traditional art, we connected with a lost COPD generation and offered them Breath of Life.
Interesting. We saw how technology was used to have a little bit of fun. We saw how technology was used for safety. And we're seeing how technology is being used for safety and convenience and a little bit of fun, where you take something that is potentially life-threatening, provide a solution, and give it an artistic touch. That's a really unique way of building a brand, by taking a person's health issue and giving them a solution and making it artistic. But that's pretty niche and pretty specific.
Nike Air Max is a pivotal part of the street culture. So to launch the new models in Brazil, we put them on the feet of those who most represent the streets. The graffiti characters of Sao Paulo.
I wouldn't do that.
What?
The governor hates graffiti. He erased hundreds of them.
I know, bro. That's why we hack the ones that survive. This is the Air Max Graffiti Store. In partnership with Instagraffiti, Brazil's biggest street art collective, we invited artists to update their own existing characters with the new Air Max models. Every week, a new drop in different regions of the city. The only way to get the sneakers on a limited pre-sale was to visit the walls, access Nike.com, and unlock the purchase through geolocation. Everything in seconds with no lines.
That's sick.
Yeah. And to spread the word about the project, we gave life to our most iconic character, showing off his new Air Max around town. Graffiti fans loved it, but sneakerheads, they went crazy.
Ó, Air Max 720. Tem que vir aqui e desbloquear por geolocalização.
Isso, moleque, desbloqueado. Finalizar a compra. We were planning the next drops, and then this happened.
Wait, the governor got convicted?
Yeah. So backed by the court decision, we brought back 6 iconic characters erased by him, wearing 6 new Air Max models. Sneakers were sold out in minutes, but the mural will live on as cultural heritage to the city. With 10 drops and counting, the project became a profitable platform for new releases. The Air Max graffiti stores transformed city walls into Nike stores, turning the brand's e-commerce into a cultural experience.
Now that's a cool way of building a brand. The truth is actually it was all about sales. Every brand wants to make money and sell stuff, but they did it in a unique way, right? Where you take e-commerce and turn it into a cultural experience, and suddenly your story is bigger. That's a unique approach, right? But again, it doesn't work for every single brand. So what do you do if you're more serious, or if you're not into selling shoes, or if you can't go and paint graffiti just because it makes sense, or it's beautiful, or you feel like?
These seeds can grow healthier and tastier varieties of cereals, fruits and vegetables, but they are illegal, as are 97% of varieties. Why? Because in Europe and almost all over the world, the official catalogue of authorized species dictates which seeds are eligible for sale and cultivation. This is the law. Any infringement is sanctioned by heavy fines. Oddly enough, almost all the authorized species belong to the agrochemical industry, hybrid, pesticide-resistant seeds developed in laboratories. A lucrative deal for them, a disaster for taste and biodiversity. To change the law, Carrefour, the French food retailer and leader in Europe, has decided to defy the law. Carrefour presents the Black Supermarket. Illegal black markets in our supermarkets, to make consumers discover these illegal varieties and sell the illegal products grown from the illegal seeds, facing legal penalties. We created a campaign to show the absurdity of the law, recruiting farmers all over France to join the protest movement. Then we signed a 5-year commitment with them, creating a real sustainable network. Our petition to change the law received over 85,000 signatures. There was almost no media in France that did not speak about the black supermarket.
Le fruit défendu dans un supermarché, Carrefour
se lance dans un marché interdit.
Even Carrefour's worst detractors were amazed that a big bad retailer would break the law for a good cause.
C'est un événement majeur. C'est un message politique très fort.
And finally, after 8 months of intense legal battle, in April 2018, a new law was voted, allowing farmers to grow their seeds free. After 40 years of prohibition, a big win for farmers, consumers, and biodiversity.
Now we're talking, guys. That's how you build a brand. You change the law. You do something insane. You take a stand, right? You show solidarity with a movement and a cause. But we've seen that, right? We've already seen that in a couple of the case videos so far. But that's still not the only way to build a brand. There has to be more ways. Because if you're not a farmer, maybe this doesn't work for you. Maybe it's something else. What do you do if you work for the press? What do you do if you're a doctor or a nurse? What else do you do? How else do you build a brand? How else do you talk to people?
As the second season of Westworld came to an end, HBO wanted to give fans a reason to talk about the show even when it wasn't on air. So we created The Maze, an innovative brand experience that used Amazon Alexa to allow fans to navigate Westworld with only their voice.
Alexa, open Westworld.
You must be here to play the game. But you can always add a little fun to something like this.
We loved having this company.
Don't happen often enough.
Well, that's because not many people brave enough to venture all the way up in these hills.
Welcome to Pariah.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
This game isn't meant for you.
You might be there.
With 36 voice actors, 11,000 lines of script, 60 player-generated paths, 32 ways to die, and 2 hours of unique gameplay, The Maze is the most ambitious and immersive voice game created to date. It was produced with the show's creators and talent Jeffrey Wright and Angela Serafia. In the first week, over 10,000 fans tried to solve the maze, and the game generated over 500 million earned media impressions, thanks to Easter eggs hidden in the game just for press.
Never had the pleasure of meeting Patrick, but I love his articles on CNET.
The maze pushes the boundaries for voice device content, bridging the gap between new technology and the oldest form of storytelling. To play and explore Westworld for yourself, simply say, Alexa, open Westworld.
Like I was saying, how do you sell a TV show? You don't have to change the law, but you literally change the game. We've all been playing games, we've all been on mobile, but the more technology there is, the more ways there are to hack it. So you explore, you find something that somebody's not done before, you take a popular show and you tell a story. That's a cool way to build a brand, right? It's still not enough. I'm not satisfied. I'm really not satisfied. There's more ways to build brands.
Hello, it's Ross Mohammed from the New York Times. I am really worried. I guess we're all being hacked. Somebody had gone through all of my stuff. My fear is that they did a show that really was killed. They want to touch you, they go.
Here from the New York Times.
Yeah.
I am trying to understand the ideology of ISIS. How does ISIS prepare you to kill people?
You had to know how to slice the head off. The blood was just everywhere.
You didn't question that?
I didn't know. But what the hell did I just do? It's voicemail.
Everything's been taken. They're cleaning up the very stuff that I need.
There's a media blackout.
Iraqi forces have launched a fresh attack on
Walking in each other's footsteps. Except we were trying saying we gotta get out. Hey, you see this?
Holy shit. That's the only circumstance to which you would separate.
Can't imagine doing it out of the line.
This is Caitlin Dickerson from the New York. This isn't the only case. Very little documentation. I know that's not true. And the shelters really don't know what to do with them. I just got another person at DHS to confirm this. I have this number. We're going to publish this story. Hi, this is Hijacking from the New York Times. Hi, this is Hannah calling from that conversation.
The government wants to present its narrative.
Militaries everywhere.
The government is saying to working guys burn down their own houses. They've started to believe it.
This is the Symbiosis Centre.
Pretty scared.
No one is telling the truth. It's like a mass psychosis. The government wants to promote their version of nuts. Like genocide denial 101.
I got a very, very small loan from my father.
You gotta start somewhere. I'm a reporter from the New York Times, and there are bank statements, tax returns, thousands of property records and deeds. 1995 showed that he was bleeding money. Go through it all, understand it all, whole number by number, written by written. That's when we realized that's fraud.
I built this empire. I did it by myself.
What you see here is something that's a lot more serious, right? How do you build a brand when you want to talk about being authentic, when the truth matters, when you have to make people interested in the news, when nobody really wants to read the news? You tell stories that are so compelling that it seems like a movie. But that's real life, right? And when your message is true to what you do, maybe the world stands up and takes notice of you. And that's one way to build a brand. But that's still not the only way, right?
I was shocked to learn that pads, tampons, and other menstrual products are taxed as luxury goods.
I suspect it's because men were making the law.
Right, Mr. President. Men made the tax laws. 50 years ago, German lawmakers, who were all men, decided to tax feminine hygiene essentials like tampons with the highest rate of 19%, but things like caviar, oil paintings, or truffles with only 7%. So tampons are the real luxury? Menstruation is luxury? Breaking the law wasn't an option for the female company, an online shop for feminine hygiene products. So how could we sell tampons for 7% instead of 19%? We outsmarted the law with the law itself by selling tampons packaged as a book, because books are also only taxed with 7%. Hello to the tampon book, a book that is a packaging for tampons to save taxes, a book that is a provocative message of existing gender inequality in our tax system. The book sold out within a day. the second edition within a week. It put the unfair tax system on the agenda of national and international media.
1650 Euro Steuern zahlt jede Frau in ihrem Leben nur für Tampons.
We sent the tampon book to all politicians in parliament. Germany's largest drugstore chain decided to sell the tampon book. The petition on change.org got more than 150,000 signatures. A broad alliance of influencers, media and politicians increased the pressure on the government. With success. On the 7th of November 2019, the German parliament abolished the tampon tax once and for all.
Zukünftig wird für Tampons und andere mit der monatlichen Periode verbundenen Hygieneprodukte endlich statt 19% der verminderte Mehrwertsteuersatz von 7% gelten.
Therefore, the tampon book is the first advertising campaign to cause a change in German law.
Yeah, I mean, that says it all, right? But there's a story behind it. When you're a slightly smaller brand in a very large market space, taking on giants, one way to build your brand is to make enough noise that everybody takes notice of you, right? That's a smart approach, but it requires some really smart thinking and some real bravery. And you don't always have that combination.
Is this a Tide ad or is this another real?
Right. Is this a Tide ad? Is this one?
Is every ad a Tide ad?
Wait a minute.
Is this a Tide commercial?
This year, Tide won the Super Bowl by doing something that's never been done before, turning every ad into a Tide ad. This is how we did it.
Yeah, just a typical Super Bowl car ad. Right? Or a hilarious beer ad. But it's a Tide ad.
What?
It's a Tide ad. Look at those clean clothes. What else would this be an ad for? A razor?
No. Tide ad.
Cold, refreshing.
Tide ad. So, does this make every Super Bowl ad a Tide ad? I think it does.
Within seconds, hashtag Tide ad began trending. Soon millions of viewers were suddenly questioning if every single Super Bowl ad they saw was a Tide ad. Then we took the idea further.
Hello again, ladies. Is your man the kind of man who would climb the height? I'm in a Tide ad.
And further.
Sarah? It's a Tide ad.
We even hijacked the live broadcast.
Welcome back to another Tide ad.
It was so big that other brands felt the need to say they were not a Tide ad, including the competition. But it was too late.
Tide stole the show.
They kind of hijacked the entire Super Bowl. James, you love the Tide commercial.
I said, baby, what are we washing our clothes with? If it's not Tide, we're doing it wrong. This was the best ad of Super Bowl.
And I'm wearing a white shirt making this.
I tell ya.
By the end of the event, we claimed 53 Super Bowl ads without ever showing even one single stain. Because by now, you know it.
Whenever you see clothes this clean, that's a Tide ad.
Now, it's interesting that I was just talking about being a small challenger brand in the market making a noise. But when you're a brand as big as Tide and everyone knows you and knows what you do, how do you build your brand even more, right? Again, it was the same story. It was about creating conversations and getting people to talk about you, right? Because at the end of the day, you see clean clothes in ads. Quite interesting, quite interesting.
Let's now talk Fortnite, shall we? It's the newest video game craze, spreading fast among kids, college kids, even celebrities.
Kids are nuts for this Fortnite.
Fortnite has taken over the gaming world, becoming the most streamed game on Twitch ever. But brands are left out of the action, either tweeting from the sidelines or paying big bucks for in-game sponsorships. So when Fortnite announced a new event called Food Fight between Team Pizza and Team Burger, Wendy's saw an organic weigh-in. We found out Team Burger stored their beef in freezers. And Wendy's doesn't do frozen beef. So we got on Twitch, chose a character with red hair and pigtails, dropped into the game, and instead of killing other players, we started destroying burger freezers. Again and again and again. For 9 hours straight. We also declared our mission on Twitter, sending hundreds of thousands of gamers to Twitch to watch us play. And soon other players stopped killing each other and started killing burger freezers with us.
Hey, Wendy's, dude, let's go!
Top Twitch streamers took notice.
I saw a Wendy's stream over here, dude.
Oh, you smacking the burgers, freezers?
This shit's lit. This kind of stuff keeps the game fresh.
Wendy's really pushing the fact that they have fresh, never frozen beef patties inside Fortnite.
Thank you so much for coming to the stream, Wendy's.
News outlets were talking about it. Even Twitch posted a highlight reel of Wendy's best freezer kills. Then, our own competitors showed us some respect.
I'm a boss in a skirt, I'm a dog, I'm a flirt. Write a verse while I twerk, I wear all white at church. Probably make the preacher sweat, read the Bible Jesus wept.
But most importantly, the game developers removed the freezers from every burger restaurant, meaning Wendy's had rid Fortnite of frozen beef forever.
That's another way when you just change the game, right? You figure out who your audience is and figure out what interests them. And you don't tell them what you're doing. You ask them if you can be a part of their conversation and you build your brand from there. And if you paid attention to that case video, you'll notice that there's a lot of people talking about Wendy's, what Wendy's was doing without Wendy's having to ask them to do it. That's a pretty smart way of building your brand, right? So that honestly brings me to the end of how you build a brand. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to keep it strange. I tried to keep it weird. I tried to make it interesting. But the point was that there is no one way to build a brand, right? And that write-up that I included in there, all of these brands have done that. That's what it is. It's about capitalizing on culture. It's about using technology. It's about having a point of view. It's about understanding what you do as a brand and who you are. It's about understanding your audience and appealing to them. But at the end of the day, it's all about a good idea, an insane amount of effort and dedication, and going out there and getting it done. So that's kind of how you build a brand. So I just wanted to end my presentation. I've only gone 4 minutes over, so I wanted to make sure that there's enough time for you guys to ask me questions. We can have discussions. If there's things you didn't get, if there's things you want to challenge, let's go ahead and talk about it. It would be great.
Guys, please, if any questions.
No questions as such, but I really did enjoy everything I saw so far. Usually this is the time where you're more lethargic. So I wasn't sleepy at all, so I didn't.
Thank you so much. I wish I could say the same. I'm extremely sleepy because I only finished working on this at 6 in the morning.
Okay, that's sad.
No, I'm just playing. I was really looking forward to this. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wanted to show you guys a whole bunch of different ways that people have approached their work, right? If you go back to these case videos and you look at them, some of them are very like based in technology, right? From AR filters to actually building an entire digital database. Like that Volvo idea is crazy. They've actually taken all of their crash test reports over decades, been through it, analyzed it, and come back with a whole new analysis, right? There's that breath analysis idea is simple and it's brilliant. And then there's brands that are irreverent and fun and just have a sharp insight, like the Tide ad, right? Every ad you see on TV technically could be a Tide ad, because the only time you see dirty clothes in ads are for detergent ads, right? PG, Procter & Gamble did a wonderful thing over there by you know, using their own brands like Old Spice and their pharmaceuticals, and every brand that they have that they've advertised over time, they hacked their own ads and they made them Tide ads. You know, so that was really interesting. By far, one of my favorite pieces are the New York Times films. I know that wasn't a case video, but I wanted you guys to see the power of execution and simplicity, right? Those particular ads won a lot of awards for craft and copywriting, right? The copywriting is simple. It's the execution of the copywriting and the device and the way sentences are completed when real reporting pictures come and you have a final story. It's something incredible and amazing, right? Those pieces, it's honestly the truth. The truth can just like hook you, right? So I tried to give you guys a taste of everything, how advertising can change the law, how advertising can impact governments, how advertising can push causes, how advertising can be fun, how advertising can change technology, how advertising can create culture, how advertising can inspire art, right? You've seen that from stores that have graffiti to taking up a point of view. For all of you guys who watch football, who are football fans, do you know why all the football players are kneeling before a match begins in the Premier League? It's because of Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was cut from his NFL team. He was a multi-million-dollar athlete, and he wasn't just any old athlete. He was at the top of his game, and the NFL dropped him because he decided to take a stand. And he said, this national anthem right now is not protecting black people, and I'm not going to stand for this national anthem. And he took a stand. And a brand like Nike decided that this is going to affect our sales, but our company is about inclusivity. Our company doesn't care about gender or race, right? Sport is for everyone. And they did actually have a dive in their stocks, right? You saw that in their case video. So the point is that advertising and brand building are such big topics, but it comes down to how you choose to do it, right? You see so many of these issues that were highlighted. I intentionally stayed away from anything related to India because I wanted you to see how things are tackled in the rest of the world and then figure out on your own how you could take these things and solve some of India's problems. Because I believe, this is my personal belief, that as someone who works in an ad agency, a digital marketing agency, or even if you work in media or PR, if you're paid money by a client, you have access to millions and millions of people. I think it's your duty to do something that's not only for you or for your brands, but that's for something for the country, right? Look at the beautiful way that Carrefour did they found out the law about seeds that are illegal. And then they found out that those seeds are designed to be resistant to pesticides, genetically modified foods, and they were supporting farmers, right? We've just had so many issues around farmers, around women, around equality, around religion, right? All of these are problems we can tackle and solve. So it all comes back to building a brand in so many unique ways, from being hardcore about your sales and your numbers, to making sure that an issue is spoken about, to ensuring that people love your brand, right? That's honestly what I wanted to show you. So there is no one way to build a brand, guys. And how brands are built now is up to you.
Well, sir, that was amazing. Any more questions, guys?
Any questions? Honestly, guys, you can make this like interactive.
So I have a question.
Sure.
So most of the campaigns that you showed us were from the West. So do you have any examples of Indian brands that have done something similar on similar grounds, or that have actually, like suppose you mentioned the Carrefour ad that sort of created a social change. So any recent Indian example that you
Definitely. One of my favorite campaigns that did a beautiful job of doing this was Share the Load, right? Share the Load was a wonderful campaign when it came to talking about gender equality and gender roles in the household. And the reason I like Share the Load was because they didn't stop that campaign after 1 year. they carried on that campaign for many years. They found different ways to do it because it was such an important point, right? Like we just stereotyped the role of a woman in the household and the role of a man in the household. And Share the Load really just opened up a whole lot of conversations. It started off as saying, right, you know what? Laundry is everybody's job. And the conversation then went from there, right? It became so much more than that. So I particularly enjoy Share the Load. There are tons and tons of examples from India, right? And I can look for some of them now and drop them in the chat or mail you guys. But one campaign that really stuck with me is Share the Load.
Right, so that I remember Share the Load. It's a very good campaign. I had one more question. So suppose if for an Indian brand, if they have to create a campaign like this, does it come from the agency's end? Does the agency, is proactive in its approach, and do they approach the client and be like, oh, we have this idea and I think we should do this, or does the client say that we need to do something like this?
From my experience, it's a mix of both. Sometimes when you're working in an agency and you're trying to think of ideas, you land on something and you go to the client and you're like, let's do something. Other times the clients themselves are extremely proactive about these things and they come to you, right? And there's a third option where you both know that there's something really important and something needs to be done about it, right? And that actually links back to when you talk about of the moment marketing or reactive marketing, like that's pretty much what digital and social media calendars are based around. When April Fool's is coming, Father's Day is coming, Mother's Day is coming, Independence Day, Laughter Day, Joke Day, all of these days of the year exist. So you plan for them, right? So it's a mix of these things. It really depends on different factors. How brave is your brand? How much are they willing to go for? In many places, you have to be aware of the political climate, right? A lot of these ideas would be more difficult to do in a place like the UAE or Dubai, where you have to be careful about how you speak about the country, right? So it's a mix of those three things.
Understood, so that I think that answered the question. Any more questions, guys? Someone was speaking up.
Yeah. If you want, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to ask I'm from the Foxy team, but I'm actually curious about this, Dhruv. I wanted to know, what exactly do you read? Like, I'm sure like even the students would be really interested in knowing, like what are the kind of what is the kind of content that you're consuming? Like, are there any things that, like, are you following like the Khan's page, or like where can we like really broaden our horizons? Like, what should we be following? What should we be reading? What should we be consuming to really have this elevated way of thinking? Yeah, I really like to know. I'm sure the students would like to know themselves. So please do let us know.
I wish that was an easier question to answer. That's such a difficult one, to be honest. When it comes down to it, so I'll try and break down this question into answers. For stuff that's purely related to advertising, there are advertising pages and blogs you need to follow, right? You need to look at the big brands like Campaign Magazine, Ads of the World, Ad Age, not Ads of the World, Ad Age, Campaign Magazine, Creative Review. Get onto the awards pages, DNAD, One Show, Cannes. They all have some stuff that's free that you can access and you can watch. The other thing I would recommend doing is actually finding out the names of some of the great guys in advertising, right? The guys who really stood out and do stuff. For example, Nick Law from RGA, which is all about technology. Nick Law used to work for RGA. They did some amazing product development work for Nike. And then Nick Law is now like a vice president in Apple, right? Listen to Nick Law's talks. Sir John Haggerty, he's called Sir John Haggerty. He's been knighted for his work in marketing and advertising. Go to YouTube, use it, listen to their talks, listen to David Droga, listen to Anselmos, listen to all of these guys. There are beautiful talks every year at Cannes. There are about 300 talks that happen within the 5 or 7 days. And you do have access to some of those talks, right? That's what I do. And that's only if you're talking about marketing. What you need to do is find things that are kind of relevant to advertising. You know, the game has changed. I feel there used to be a point of time when advertising used to really shape and lead culture, right? And technology's completely changed that, right? Brands have to be super authentic. If you fake what you're saying, you're going to get called out by your audience and nobody's going to follow you, right? It's easy to look at the trend now. Just ask yourselves what type of brands you buy. Environmentally friendly, environmentally conscious, against animal cruelty, you know, against humans' right violations, against child labor, right? I'm going to assume these are all things that you guys do. But that puts a lot of focus and pressure on the brand, right? So brands have to work harder than ever to appeal to you. So in order for you to know these things, you have to read about these things. So one thing I would recommend everyone does is read the news and stay up to date with what's happening in the world, because that's where all the problems and that's where culture arises from, right? So you do that. Then you find other things from culture that interest you. Art, sneaker design, technology, graffiti, right? Follow those. I read Wired magazine, right? Wired magazine is technology based, but they have a lot of stuff about how technology intersects and meets culture and society. I read The Verge. You know, I read blogs, or I go to websites that are good for writing, because my core skill is I'm a writer. So for example, one of my favorite Indian publications, digital publications, is The Wire. They have such excellent writers over there. That helps your craft. So a lot of reading is required, and broaden your horizons. Don't get stuck in advertising, because at the end of the day, like I was saying, the game has changed. Advertising is trying to be a part of your culture now, what you guys are interested in. So you need to be masters of the world around you in a way, you know, whether it's sports, whether, you know, it's craft brewery, for example, you know, how to make a beer. These are all very important cultural things. So it's about reading as much as you can. Find good publications that have a great, you know, a great amount of content available to you. For example, one of the magazines I love is called The Monocle, right? The Monocle has a very unique take on writing. So that's kind of what it is. It's hard to break it down, right? For advertising related stuff, it's much easier to find. Like I said, a couple of things to do. Ad Age, Ad Forum, Ads of the World, Creative Review, Campaign Magazine. Check these out. Look at the guys who are like, you know, bigwigs, who are pillars in the industry. Look at the guys from India who are pillars in the industry. Look at Prasoon Joshi, look at Piyush Pandey. Find their talks and go onto YouTube. There are plenty of talks and they offer you brilliant insights from these talks. They're all available for free. Listen to them, right? Right now, I'm on Spotify listening to a whole bunch of different podcasts that are really, really interesting. There's one podcast called Stuff You Should Know, right? And the other day, I was listening about how the rabies vaccine was discovered, right? It was absolutely fascinating. And the podcast is called Stuff You Should Know. So every episode is different, and there are over 1,200 episodes of Stuff You Should Know. So that's a great way of getting your information as well, right? So it's about making time for your interests. Those interests are going to fuel your imagination. But really, I'm going to say this again because I don't think enough people do it. Please read the news, guys. I know watching our news is terrible. Read the news. Find yourself news sources that you can trust, that are reliable. Go to BBC. I love Faye D'Souza on Instagram. just the news is beautiful because it's just the news. You learn stuff, right? And at the end of the day, that's important because we're in advertising, we're in marketing. What happens in the economy, what happens in the real world affects your livelihood and your job. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much. It was so insightful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to ask me job-related stuff if you want to. If you've got any questions about how advertising works, what a job is like, anything at all. It doesn't have to be only related to this session. Yeah, I'm here to answer questions.
Okay. I guess there are no more questions.
That's all good. Okay.
Okay.
So I honestly thank you for this. Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't bore you guys to death. I tried to let you guys get an insight of the person I am because that's pretty much what the presentation was, a conversation with myself. So just wanted to have a little fun. Advertising is a cool industry. There's a lot out there. And it's growing and it's expanding. And I don't even think the word advertising does justice to what this industry is anymore. It's so much more than that. And thanks a lot for your time, guys.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the entire student body, sir, I would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and for sharing your knowledge and insights with us. And I especially I think everybody would agree, the format in which you had the class was very refreshing. It was nothing like I've ever seen, wherein, I mean, it's not just that it's not just the first layer or the second layer where you're having references and this and all, but also the conversation with yourself, and it was a very fresh kind of an energy. It's not something we're generally used to seeing. So I can guarantee you that I don't think anybody got bored during the session. So for sure.
Thank you so much, Anandjit. I'm so happy you enjoyed it. And that was kind of the point, right? This is the last thing I forgot to tell you. Advertising is the art of selling, and I wanted to show you that it extends to how you present yourself and who you are and engaging with your audience. So I remember what it was like being in college, and my biggest fear coming into this presentation was I was really going to bore you guys. So that's one of the reasons why it took me so long to figure out how I was going to get this presentation done, because I would never forgive myself if I was that boring dude who gave a lecture at Symbi, man. Oh my God, no way. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yes, for sure, sir. You did very well, sir. I'm pretty sure I especially enjoyed it a lot, sir. So
thank you so much.
I would also like to thank the Foxy team for being with us, Arshi, Janvi Shetty, and Apurva Lad for your presence. I would like to thank the director, the faculties, and the IT team that helped make this possible. And thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have an awesome day, guys. See you.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.